Well, hi, everybody. It's another Conversations With, and I'm once again delighted to be with my good friend Richard Morco. And Richard's with the Sturbridge Times, and has a great column every time it comes. What's it, once a month?
Once a month.
And excellent. And so I love to read it and look forward to it. But today, I have a question, Richard. What is it about the motoring public, the people who, now listen, let's talk about just buying a car. You buy an automobile. There's a sales tax. There's an excise tax. There's gasoline tax. There's repair, and you have to pay a tax on the repair bill. So we are probably the one single most taxed people in this wonderful Commonwealth. Which brings me up to this question. What is it about the motoring public that the insurance companies, the Registry of Motor Vehicles, the police departments, and MassDOT don't like us? What is it about us? What have we done wrong that they do everything in their power to make it as difficult as they possibly can for you and I to get from this place to that place?
Because we let them, amongst other things. I mean, you know, Baba sees a lot of guy with a big thing of hair. He's saying, I could really cut off a lot there. Well, that's what state officials see us, and they see us sheep to be sheared.
Well, that's a good point, because boy, they are doing a good job on us. Now, I happen to have in my little, I got to tell you a story about insurance. I have two automobiles. We lived in Sturbridge for many years. We, about 4 years ago, bought a little house over on the lake in Charlton, and Jen and I moved. Whereupon, my automobile insurance went up $200 a car. What did I do? So I called the insurance department, and she's, well, you moved. What do you mean I moved? I moved a mile. They touch each other. How can it be $200 more to go for me to drive in Charlton than it was in Sturbridge? And if I drive back to Sturbridge, can I get a discount? Well, she said, no, that's the insurance people. Oh, no. I said, okay. So I called the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Department of Insurance, thinking, of course, they were on my side. Big shock, number one. Big shock, number one. I talked to this lovely lady who suddenly, halfway through my conversation, got amnesia. And I'm saying to her, I'm explaining to her, and she says, well, sir, you're the one who moved. I said, yeah, but wait, why does it cost $200 more for my car to be in Charlton than in Sturbridge, a different zone? Well, who put Charlton in there? They touch each other. Who put them in the insurance companies? Oh, so you work for the insurance companies. I thought you were the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Department. Well, we are. Well, you don't sound like you're very favorable to me. You seem you're offended because I'm complaining about the fact that my car went up 200. Well, it's based on accidents. What do you mean it's based on accidents? So now I say, Mass Pike, right through Charlton, a lot of accidents. Nope, if it's based on you, if you get an accident, I said, all right, my parents are buried in Malden. If I go to visit the grave and I get in an accident in Malden, will that accident get charged to Malden or Charlton? What does your driver's license say? Charlton. Nope, it gets charged to Charlton. Okay, well, next question. Charlton is growing. We have 5,000 more citizens than Sturbridge. So is it the number of accidents, or is it per capita accidents, a percentage? Oh, no, number of accidents. That's not fair. Because if Sturbridge has less people, they will have less accidents. I guarantee that.
Yep.
And if Charlton has more people, they will have more accidents. 35,000 people at Fenway Park, they have a hospital in the ballpark. You know why? Because when 35,000 people get in one place, especially with chairs and steps and alcohol, somebody will fall down and get hurt. So they have a hospital right there, a little emergency room. And I said, so you're telling me, I said, why isn't it percentage? Got to call the insurance companies. They set the rules. Wait a minute. They set the rules. And I went around and around. And so I still haven't got an answer, except I've asked Senator Goby and Representative Durant to abolish the Massachusetts Department of Insurance. We don't need them.
Yeah, right.
Save millions.
Yeah.
We don't need them. So I kept pushing this lady. She says, you're going to have to talk to the commissioner. Get him on the phone. Well, you can't talk to him. You just told me I had to talk to him. Get him on the phone. Give me his extension. Put me through to him. Well, I can't do that. Well, then why'd you tell me to talk to him? I mean, it was his, I wish I had taped it. It would have been a funny program.
You should have.
I've got, so I wrote, she said, you're going to have to send in your complaint in writing. So I did. And I got this long letter back which told me nothing. And so I still pay $200 more a year for my insurance than I did.
Kafkaesque.
Now, I've also done a lot of research on this, and I figured out why. Because in order for people in Worcester, where they have a ton of accidents, to keep their rates down a little bit, the insurance industry picked on Charlton and Oxford and Dudley and zinged us a little bit. So we pay a little more, so they pay a little less. That's what's really going on. So when I talked to Goby and to Durant, oh, well, gee. I said, file a bill to move Sturbridge is Zone 1. We're Zone 2. I want a bill filed to move Charlton to Zone 1. Well, it's not that easy. Yeah, it is.
They have to file the bill for you.
Just file it.
They still have to.
Well, no, but I don't want them. I want it supported.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the sense of filing it?
Right.
I want them to back it. And I said, by the way, I'll bet you if you go to some of these reps from these other towns, they don't know this is going on. They'll be shocked to find out what's going on. And I get, and I like them both very much. Please don't get me wrong.
I understand. They're both likable.
But they got all kinds of problems. But that's just one thing. That's the Department of Insurance. Now let's go to the Registry of Motor Vehicles. $80 for a number plate that cost them $2.50 that will last for 30 years, and that's $80 a year. That's a gouging. That's a gouge. $75 for a driver's license that cost them $2 to make. That's a gouging.
That is gouging.
And you go right down the line. When you get the car, what do you call it? I can't think of the word.
Registration?
No, the thing you have to file. The bank holds it. Title.
Right.
They charge you $50 for a title.
I remember when you didn't have to get a title.
Now, $50 you have to get, and they charge you $50 for the title. It is absolutely gouging the public.
It is.
And when I was at the registry, I used to have a big discussion with Registrar Mackey, who I was a consultant at Governor Dukakis's request to try to straighten out that place. And the thing is that the registry's money never gets accounted for. What it goes into is the general fund.
Yes.
So it's hidden.
Exactly.
And so I said to the registrar, you want to get up at the end of the year and have a big check that the registry is presenting to the Commonwealth, $20,280,000. He said, oh, great idea. He calls me back 2 days later and tells me, don't you dare, was his answer. They don't want you to know.
Of course.
How much the registry cranks out in absolute gouging profits.
Now, this is understandable because it's going into the general fund.
Yeah.
It's not just the registry running
Oh, no,
its
keeping
own.
the money. No.
Right. So, and lowering it for the people because it will go into the general
Well,
fund.
the reason it won't get lowered is because the general fund, the House and Senate want the money.
Of course.
And it's hidden money.
We have to, Uncle Ted's job.
Yeah.
Who couldn't walk and chew gum at the same time, but he's
Right.
got a job somewhere.
Yeah.
You got to support that. You want these people walking around the street?
That's right. So the point is, they don't want you to know.
Of course not.
It's just like when they called DeLeo on all these trips. And how come we don't have to? Well, because we passed a law and we don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that true? Where's the transparency? Well, the law's the law. I just uphold the law.
There you go. I pass it, and then I uphold it.
Yeah. And so then let's talk, folks in Charlton this week, and you came through Charlton, so you know of which I speak. Fortunately, they're going to do some prepare work on Route 20
Yep.
in what they call Charlton City,
Yep.
which is right downtown, where Ted's is, so you people are familiar with it. And so they went back up on Route 20 on the other side of the 169 intersection, and they milled it. And they put up their big signs, motorcycles, be careful. They always put those big signs up. Motorcycles should be careful anyway. But that's beside the point. And then they milled it. And of course, now after they mill it, you get all the sewer covers sticking up. So they paint a little orange stripe on them. So if you're paying attention, you won't wreck your tire. But you got to pay attention to watch for that orange stripe because that baby is sticking up about 3 inches above the ground. So you got to drive dodge around them. And so they know. And so I can never understand why after they mill it, they don't hot top it. They can have those trucks right ready to go, but that's beside the point. So now, in the last 3 days, we've had gridlock. It looks like New York City, Dick. Gridlock. They had traffic backed all the way up beyond Zorbas, all the way almost into downtown Sturbridge. And they had it back the other way, all the way into Oxford. And then in 169, you know, you had to bring your luggage with you because you might have to sleep over before you could get back on the 20. And what they were doing is they ran around with the and they were digging around the sewers, and then the man came behind them with cement, and he put new cement in. And then the drains, I saw a hysterical one, the drains, they put in new drains because they took the old ones out. They're now 40 years old, so we don't need those anymore. So they took those out, put new ones in. And then they drilled around them and cemented them up and fixed them and painted them orange again so you'd notice them. But I noticed the other day after the big rain, we had a storm go through, that one of the brand new they just put in, they didn't put it low enough. So the water was sitting there. See that water, now they're going to have to build up the hot top or do something to get it in the sewer. But that's beside the point. In the meantime, the traffic was a nightmare. But the best one of all was, you talk about waste. Coming in, I had to go over to Sturbridge. And I saw what was going on, and I thought about you. I go back down 169. No, that'll be just as bad. I'll just gamble and come home. I come back, and I get by the new brewing company, and we're starting to slow down. Well, I finally get up a little further, and I see this big, I mean, I call it, when I tell you big, I have this big flashing arrow with about 12 flashing lights, flashing, poof, 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 pointing me to go that way. Because there's, and then I look out, and we have all these orange cones at probably $50 a pop that we rented from Liddell or somebody. All these orange cones, so I wouldn't make a mistake and miss the sign, which of course if I did, I'd hit my car. But that's beside the point. Well, I get around that, and we have two, not one, two police cars, blinking blue lights, motors running, air conditioners on. It was a hot day, and we had two police officers sitting in the car, doing nothing about the traffic, sitting there. Now, I wouldn't mind one. If it was one police car, I could buy that one. But two? Then, of course, I get a little further, and I got 6 guys in bright yellow jackets with Mass dots stamped all over them that we paid for, by the way, with helmets on. And they're all talking and walking around and having a great conversation as these poor guys are digging out the trenches and putting in the cement, but are all supervisors. And I'm saying, you gotta be kidding me. And I'm crawling along now, 5 miles an hour. So you know what my temperature was like about then. And I'm saying, okay, here we go. And it took me 22 minutes to get to the corner. And then we have another problem. We now have a live police officer. We got lights, by the way. They worked they've worked for years perfectly. Control the traffic, everything's wonderful. Little arrow where you want to go, it's perfect. Now, we need an officer there. He's going to direct traffic. You know what happens when you get a live officer directing traffic? It's twice.
Need a donut?
No, he didn't have a donut. He was directing, I don't know, maybe he did in his pocket. But anyway, he was on his phone, but, you know.
Oh, of course, yes.
But anyway, and now the traffic's lined up. Well, what he does, he would let 169 go, but he wouldn't stop anybody. He would wait till there was a break in the 169 traffic, so he wouldn't have to put that hand up. And then he'd turn to us and say, well, the problem was, at the bottom where 169 was okay. He was there. But the guy, we had another police officer up on the top of the hill. And the two of them weren't
They weren't in sync.
They weren't in sync. So when the guy on the top of the hill was pulling the traffic out of the side street and had all the traffic stopped, Charlie down the bottom was pulling the cars straight ahead, had nowhere to go. So now nobody can move. You can't get out of 169 because they're all there. And it was a comedy. And I'm saying to myself, with all the money that we spend in taxes for our sales tax, our excise tax, our gas tax, we deserve better treatment. Now, why they could have done that at night, of course, which they could have done, because they have those little portable lights, I've seen them, and why that wasn't done at night baffles me. Why they choose to do it in the middle of morning drive, and
Why does this baffle the man who made Vaughn's Law? No, there will always be a government, and nobody knows how to run a government. Why would that baffle Dick Bond, who came up with that?
Well, because, look, first of all, here's what I do know. Nobody has ever said a government knows how to run a government. Now, we have become a business. I just outlined all the money. We have become a business. So now we have people who tried to run a government unsuccessfully, now trying to run a business.
But you're fighting nature here. Now, why are you fighting nature? Because we all know that when spring comes and summer comes, road projects blossom
Explode.
along the Commonwealth.
Oh, absolutely.
Explode. It's a natural phenomenon. It's not something, even if we didn't have a government, well, maybe not if we didn't have it, no matter what kind of government we had, we'd have road projects. This is natural. And it's how we tell, a few days, tomorrow or something, we have the summer solstice.
Yeah, today.
Oh, today, the summer solstice. Well, it's actually preceded by the pre-solstice, which is road crews coming out.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not, we have to have
And then
this.
the funniest thing of all, when you get to the other side of up by Route 31, they went up the hill a little ways. And I started to laugh the other day. It says, big sign, watch out for a bump. Okay. You know what that sign must have cost us? Watch out for a bump. And they got a little thump where they cut the road.
Yeah. We were smart. We'd sell signs to the state.
Well, that's what we should do. No, they have their own sign company. They,
Yeah, that's
they make their own.
yeah. Oh,
They make their own.
My
but-
pacemaker, I needed a
Well,
battery.
but they make their own. But you know what that cost us? For
well,
professional sign makers?
Yeah.
To take an orange sign and stick 4 letters on it, B-U-M-P,
Well, at first they had to take a civil service job for that.
I'm sure,
Quite-
and make it a big sign,
Yeah.
paint it orange, and then put 4 letters, B-U-M-P, bump. Anyway, so I'm looking at it, and I'm driving up, and I say, OMG. I go up the hill a little bit, maybe 70 feet, and we got a pothole. And it's not filled, and it's gaping. And I'm saying to myself, they could have...
It's easy to spell
the
bump.
guy- when the
It's
guy-
easier to spell bump than pothole.
I understand. But my point is, when the guy was doing the grinding with the grinding machine, gone another 50 feet, he'd have got it. Okay? He'd have got it. Now, and then what really baffled me is why they don't do it at night. After 7:30 or 8 o'clock, when there's a lot less traffic, when people aren't trying to get home to work, go to work, they got lights now, those portable little lights that they can take out. It is unbelievable. And you know the funniest one of all? Have you ever been down, get on the... Now, last year we had this big push on the Turnpike. We're going to go toll-free, no toll booths. It is an eternity to get these intersections. It's hot top. It's hot topping them. Do you know how many Jersey barriers the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, they have them stacked
Another
on the Mass
business.
Turnpike.
Another business we were stupid not to
Well,
get
but
into.
they got them stacked at the old exit 14 on the Turnpike.
Yeah.
They've got thousands of them
Yeah.
that they haven't used. Well, why do you think they'd take them up and move them out here? No way. Those stay there. Get new ones for there. The Auburn exit is still a nightmare trying to... Every one of the exits, here it is, June. They killed themselves, paid overtime to get them done by Thanksgiving, and then stopped work. And then, like you just said, and it was my own stupidity, the solstice is here back on the roads. They did nothing for 4 months, and now they're out there. And these exit ramps and entrance ramps, you don't know where to go. They got barriers all over.
Yeah, it was a little...
Scary.
Yeah. I wrote a column about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, to explain about bump and why we need professional sign builders. Do you remember when 146 opened several years back?
Oh, yeah.
Designed to Providence. You know what it said? Providence. And it was there for a few days, and I said, oh no. Providence. Can't anybody spell in this state? It explains it all, Dick. It's
Yeah.
going to happen again and again.
Now you take one. You ever gone down to 128? This is the 18th year they've been widening 128. It's not finished yet.
And think of people who are doing well out of that. Do you begrudge them their salary?
Yes, I do.
Okay, we do.
I'm not only begrudging the salary, but I'd rather have them work at night, make a few bucks more, than tie the traffic up during
Yeah, it
drive
would
time.
get done a lot faster, but
And it would
that's
get
not
done
in
a
the
lot
plan.
faster.
But it's not supposed to get done faster. It's a natural phenomenon of people out on the road with their cell phones, with their donuts, with Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, come on, Dunkin' Donuts. Do you want the kids at Dunkin' Donuts to go out of work because people on the road crews don't come in? Oh, Dick, don't be heartless.
Well, no, but they run on Dunkin' Donuts. That's what keeps them going.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
There was, and then I don't want to get into Boston's problem. They got enough of their own. Let Marty handle those. But there was a big story in the Globe about the number of Boston police officers who are getting paid not to work. It's part of the contract. They work so many hours. If they don't work, they get paid for not working.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you the biggest single ripoff in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and it happens over and over and over again. One of our police officials, government officials, name them, employees, steals, breaks the law. Wait a minute, breaks the law, gets caught with his hand on the cookie jar, and here's the penalty. He gets put out of work for 4 weeks with pay. Where's the penalty? They send the guy on vacation and pay him while the investigation is going on. They send these state troopers, whoop, he can't work, but he's on paid leave. What? What? Why would you pay him?
Well,
If it's a penalty,
it's just an investigation. Who knows? The fact that he was caught with several $1 million, he may be able to get a way to prove him.
But that's not the
It
point.
was an accident. It attached itself to me.
Here, if you're not guilty till proven guilty, then let him work. If you're going to let him go home, don't pay him. Why should we pay a guy who's been sent home for disciplinary reasons and he gets full pay? He must laugh all the way home.
I fail to think that our state workers could be so cynical, Dick. I mean, this is cruel. This is cruel.
Oh, I'm just, look, my old pal Ronald Reagan had many wonderful sayings. I have them on my refrigerator. One of them he said is, I realize that facts are very troubling things. And facts are very troubling things. And all I'm sharing today, I love police officers. I have great friends. I have nothing against them personally. But I'm talking about facts. And these are facts. And the fact that you don't want to hear them doesn't change them. They're still facts.
That's right. That's right. But I don't want to hear them, of course, but they're still facts. I agree.
My late father did something. My mother told the story until the day she died. It was about 19 in the late 40s, middle 40s. He had just got back. Maybe it was just before I went away in the war, Second World War. And they were at the old Hotel Kenmore. And he was talking to somebody. And they got into a discussion about facts. My father was telling him, this is a fact. Oh, Happy. My father's nickname was Happy. Oh, Happy. Come on. He says, I'll tell you what. I can sell facts. And the guy says, what? He says, I can sell facts. That's how good I am. And he says, what? My father said, watch this. And he walked over there. Remember the old cigar girls in the pubs?
I was too young.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, so he went over and he asked her if he could have remember the cigar boxes, the old wooden ones that lifted up when they had a bunch of cuts. So he asked her if he could have a cigar box. And he went out on the street with a little scoop and he found some little deposit left by a dog. And he picked it up and put it in the box. And he put a sign on his chest that said, facts, 50 cents. And he stood there and said, facts, ma'am, 50 cents, facts. Well, sooner or later, Barnum said it. This guy comes along and he says, 50 cents for a fact? My father, that's right. He said, so the guy gives him 2 quarters. My father opens the box. The guy says, that's dog poo. My father said, that's a fact. And he took the 2 quarters, walked back in and gave them to the guy. Okay? So facts are facts. And sometimes you don't like to hear them, but they are.
That's true.
And so the bottom line to the whole thing is, and I know that when I said these things and you said what you said, that our audience is sitting saying, those 2 old guys are right. Okay? We're only right if you do something about it. Mm. If you write to your congressman, if you write to your senator, if you write to your representative, if you call the town hall, if you call up and say, hey, what's going on? Call MassDOT. That's when it's going to stop. Mm. And that's only when it's going to stop. And it goes back to the government allowing things to go on, allowing things because nobody really cares because they all have their hand in the cookie jar. And I'm not going to say anything because, gee, hey, maybe I'm going to be sent home on paid leave.
You were in town government, and you know that at most of the town meetings, it's only the people, like the Department of the
I saw it this year in this town of Charlton.
Yeah, and if only those people come, they all scratch each other's back and everybody's home.
They cut the regional school budget by a couple of $100,000 to keep it in balance. And we had a town meeting, and we had 100 or so teachers come in, and their friends, relatives, spouses. And what troubled me more than anything, they came in 3 minutes before the article went on, and the minute they got the vote, they got up and left.
They all do that.
And what troubled me, I was so, because I remember up in Ware, it happened to me just one time, and I had somebody on the finance committee, 5 articles later, move reconsideration, and we killed it. And they came back to me, and I said, don't you ever send in the troops and pull them out of here like that again. As long as I'm moderator, you're going to get the vote. We got a special coming up in October. I'm going to give it to you, but I needed to teach you a lesson. Don't ever pull that. They want to come to the town meeting. That's great. Stay here and support your community. Don't play this with me. But you're right. I mean, the special interests control town meetings.
Yeah.
That's the tragedy of town meetings. That's why the day will come when they'll go away. Because are they either going to go to representative town meetings or they're going to go away? Because 150 people shouldn't be spending $28 million.
They shouldn't be. I will say in Westbrook, I think most of the people on the little committees are honest.
I'm with you.
I would shudder to think that it were Boston. No, I would say
No.
Complete corruption.
No. And sometimes in the small towns, and I've seen it happen, and it's just good people not realizing. I just went to that seminar, and I meant to talk about that, where and the bottom line is, it was the Inspector General. You can't give somebody the right to do wrong. And what he means by that is if something's happening and you see it happen and you're an official and you turn your head and let it happen and you know that you shouldn't have, just because you didn't, well, it's not that big a deal, then you're a conspirator. And you have just committed a crime.
It is.
And how the fellow started the thing, he says, it was for all members of commissions and boards. I'm an assessor in town, so I went to this program. And he started out with this. He said, anybody travel the Mass Turnpike? Everybody put their hand up. He says, the speed limit on the Mass Turnpike is 65. Has anybody ever gone over 65? Well, we all laughed and put our hands up. He said, you all broke the law. Yeah. That's how easy it is to break the law. Yeah. And then he said, you cannot give somebody the right to do wrong. And if somebody is supposed to turn a file of paper by March 1st, and they don't, and you let them have an extra month or 2 months or a week or 4 days, you're a conspirator. Mm. You allowed them to break the law.
Mm-hmm. And you went against the people who didn't break the law.
And the problem is that it happens in small towns because they know the guy. Oh, he's a good guy. He'll take care of it. He'll do it. It's just late. Well, here we go.
It happens in every profession, legal, the clergy, whatever.
Yep.
It happens everywhere. He's not a bad guy. No, but when you let him go, you are.
Yeah, that's right. And I watched the Inspector General, and when he said it, I went, wow. And he said, you do not have the right to let somebody do wrong.
Well, we need more people in government saying that.
That's right. We need a lot more people saying it, and it usually starts at the top. Anyway, Richard, once again, a wonderful program.
It was.
And we got a lot off our chest.
Well, we wasted a lot of people.
Yeah, we wasted a lot of time. Folks, there you have it. It's another Conversations With. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next month.